As I know that you guys who don't know about the Bilderberg group are going to go home tonight, you're going to Google them, and you're going to have your eyes wide open into what the shadow government's all about. You may not know who these people are, and now you do when you get off of your shift. You're going to go home and you're going to research what we said. You're going to see that we were right. Today I was detained. I pulled into this municipal lot down there, and apparently I didn't go in the exit only section. I had like 3 hours of sleep last night and just flew in. And we're live streaming at the same time. So we pulled out, we get into the right section, and then all of a sudden a bunch of cops come in, and they're like, "Oh, well, didn't you see the sign said do not enter?" And I said, "No, I just didn't see it. That's why as soon as I pulled in there, I saw it, so I turned around and came over here." And then she's like, "Oh, I need to see your ID." And then they ran my ID, ran me, hoping to fish a warrant out or something. So no, I don't have any warrants out for my arrest, scumbags, So they detained us for a little while, ran our warrants, and then the guy that was in my car too.
Mark, why don't you have any warrants out for your arrest?
I don't really break the law other than maybe disturbing the peace, or actually I think the reason why they don't get me for disturbing the peace, disorderly the conduct, whatever they can get me for, is because at this point any publicity will be good publicity for me, since I'm sort of a jackass and I just don't care, and so anything they do to me within reason is just going to be more publicity. So I think they really don't know what to do with me at this point.
Not to mention you violate the First Amendment, sir.
Yeah, well, we need to shred the Constitution according to Bilderberg, but I walk a careful line. I try not to break the law other than, small ordinance violations, disturbing the peace, noise violations, things like that. But I was in the hotel this morning, and I started live streaming when we were leaving, and just some lady came over to me after a while and just put her hand in front of my camera, and she's like, "I told you to turn this off. And then security came, and they just kind of watched us as we walked out. So I was surprised that they didn't actually grab the camera. So I was live streaming and getting the HD video, and she just was very insistent about me turning it off. She's like, "Oh, turn it off. I see the red lights on." I said, "I said the new camera. I don't know how to operate it. Hold on a second." And then we just kept walking, and so I was in the hotel last night, hanging out in the bar, had a good talk with security. He had run security for 4 years for Bilderberg, but he wouldn't say who he was with. And he said that they're on top of it. They know who's coming, who's going. I'm sure they got RF detectors, so anybody that walks on that property with a cell phone,
There's more of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Adam Kokesh reporting from Bilderberg 2012. I'm here with activist author Mark Dice, who came all the way out here to Chantilly, Virginia, from sunny Southern California to hot and muggy Northern Virginia. Why are you out here? Why is it important for you to make the trek all the way for this event?
I think this is a historic year. I don't think Bilderberg can hide anymore. I think the mainstream media, due to the pressure, due to the large numbers of people here, the word getting out, people calling, pressuring the media to cover, I think this is the year when they're breaking. They already have. Washington Times reported on it this morning. So I just want to be a part of it. And, when I was doing my searches for how the world works, it ultimately leads to secret societies, to the Bilderberg group, to the Illuminati. And, a lot of secret society stuff is intangible, not a lot of evidence, a lot of speculation. We know where they are. We know who they are. I got their tax returns. Okay, we know who funds them. We know how much money they spend, how much money they take in. And so the Bilderberg group is one of the most tangible power structures and really at the pinnacle. And that's why I think it's extremely important that everybody knows about them. And I think this is our year to do it.
So do you think that the independent media here is having an effect on what's going on the inside in terms of the actual deliberations and conspiring and colluding of the superclass?
I think in the preparations for the security concerns, yes. I don't think they pay too much mind to us, except they know that this is the cause for getting mainstream coverage. So I'm sure
let me suggest more specifically then. Like, for example, if they're going, well, we need to get more military spending because it aids our power and promotes the health of government and all of that, but we can't really get away with doing a war in Iran because there's too much independent media that's questioning the bullshit propaganda that's seen through it. Let's go for a humanitarian war in Syria instead. Yeah. And that in that sense, the changing of the conversation, thanks, I would say, to independent media, has cut off certain avenues of tyranny and oppression. That the work that you have done as an author, raising awareness about the New World Order, about the superclass, the powers here at Bilderberg, has created a check on their power in and of itself in terms of what they think they can get away with.
I can't agree with you more, and that's why the citizen journalist, man, with the power of one cell phone now is what it took a whole news crew to do a few decades ago, maybe even 10 years ago. And so now we have the power literally in our hand. We can reach millions of people with a simple cell phone. We don't have to rely on watching any big mainstream news where there's an editor that's going to decide what goes out, what doesn't get shown. We share it with our friends. We like your videos. You spread them around. You find a confrontation of somebody. It's right there. It's the video's the proof, and people are doing confrontations with people that no mainstream media outlet would even air these confrontations. Such a damage to their system to even hear about some of the things that people like you and others talk about. But we're changing the culture one person at a time, where the mainstream media will have to adapt, and they are adapting, to try to masquerade as they're relevant or that they're still cutting edge. Because when people start hearing about stuff like this from their friends, from large Ustream channels, from YouTube videos getting millions of views,
the threat to the mainstream audience,
everyone's talking about it. Wait a minute, why aren't these guys? So we are, everybody here, everybody who's spread the word, who's done a confrontation, who's posted a link to plant a seed, is changing the culture, and I love them.
So you're doing a great job on the bullhorn here earlier, taunting the cops, who are the new Praetorian Guard defending the superclass. You're doing a great job confronting those that were coming into this meeting in the blacked out SUVs and limos here. But what is the specific objective of this gathering for you? First of all, personally, what do you hope to achieve? But what are your hopes for the larger goals of this gathering?
I want everybody in the world to know about the Bilderberg Group, just as they do about the G8, the G20, or, McDonald's. I want Bilderberg Group as popular as McDonald's. I want everybody to know who they are, the history, the cover-up, the Bilderberg blackout. I mean, the decades of the blackout and the ridicule. And now the Washington Times. Oh, now some of the mainstream is starting to validate what they had ridiculed us for years and years. So I'm just super excited. And my goal is to get the Bilderberg Group as well known as McDonald's.
Well, what change do you think is going to come from that in terms of the actual policy or the state of freedom and what people experience from government and from the super classes as a result of this? What is the next phase in human evolution that you see us working towards with events like this and by calling attention to the Bilderberg Group?
The saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And so many people have been distracted with entertainment, with mindless. So it's fine to do that stuff, but in moderation, to just be aware of certain issues that affect you. But I think because the grassroots are so focused on this, that since they can't ignore it, everybody knows about it. And because we're shining the light on them, we are the squeaky wheel. And by just getting the phone calls at their offices, the emails, even the hate mail on Twitter and stuff, constantly. I mean, nobody wants that. And so if we can just show people what they're doing and what they're doing is wrong, and if people just make their lives miserable, in a legal and just way, then we will get them to change. We will get them to stop. I think we forget about a lot of the victories that we have. There's so many times where policies will come up, things will come up, and there's a moderate uproar, and then they back off. And I think we tend to, because there's so many threats coming at us, I think that we tend to forget the victories that we do have. So I think that this is a major victory, and I think we just need to keep it up. And Bilderberg Fest, man, 2012.
And what's your website?
MarkDice.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Dice, all the way from sunny Southern California here at Bilderberg 2012, Chantilly, Virginia.